But now we've got Fight of the Year. And Rob, I did actually see that Unibet video that you made where you talked about your Fight of the Year, or Fight of the Year, sorry. Let's get into it. What was your fight for 2024?
Well, it's tricky because my Fight of the Year and my KO of the Year are the same thing. Okay. Should I just go into both?
Look, it's hard to not mention both. We will talk about the obvious KO that you're talking about in the next category, but just
it gives it away.
Yeah, it does. It does. But everyone knows what it will be anyway.
Yeah, my Fight of the Year and my KO of the Year, same thing, same fight. Gaethje versus Hollway. Okay. Not only did I think it was an outstanding fight, but I just thought there was so much story, kind of backstory in anticipation of the fight. Yeah. And then when the fight happened, the adversity that Gaethje broke his nose round one and then was persevering and then dropped Hollway in, I think it was either 3 or 4. And you're kind of always wondering if he would get back. And then the way they sealed the deal at the end of the way Hollway pointed to the center of the ring, he was ahead 4 rounds, I reckon. You know what I mean? He was winning that fight, but still was like, nah, let's throw it. And then knocked out Kevin Gaethje, knocked out Justin Gaethje, who has one of the biggest chins in the game, right? In a firefight that Gaethje's good at. That's what he's good at. Mate, it was outstanding. You know, everyone was wondering before that fight, what's Hollway going to look going up again? He didn't look very big. He didn't look like he had the power, the stopping power when he fought Poirier. So, even I was underestimating him, thinking, I didn't like the way he looked against Poirier. So I'm going to have to back Gaethje because Gaethje's a demon for guys at his weight division. And then for, Holloway's going up. You know, we didn't know.
Yeah. And you talked about story. This was Max going up. This was Justin. He could have sat on the sides and probably got that fight against Islam Makhachev, right? He took a huge risk with that. So there was a lot of story, a lot of excitement heading into that fight. And I think that added to it. Plus the fact that it was on UFC 300. But I will say this, man. So I wouldn't call this one my Fight of the Year. The only reason is because when I think of Fight of the Year, I think of barn burners and real back and forths, real close competitive fights. If you really look at it, Max Holloway, for the most part, dominated Gaethje in that fight, right? So it was a beautiful performance. It could even be performance on the year on Max's side. But when you talk about Fight of the Year, that's the only reason why I wouldn't give it to this. I think there are other more exciting, bloody, tough, back and forth fights that had everyone up on their feet. With Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje, you had Knockout of the Year for sure, and we'll obviously talk about that. But I wouldn't quite call it Fight of the Year. But that's just my opinion.
I feel like, though, whenever Justin Gaethje's in a fight, he's in it the whole way. You know, there's heaps of fights he's been getting pumped and then ends up knocking the dude out just because that's kind of his war of attrition. You know what I mean? And we saw that in those later rounds. He landed on Holloway. He
in that 4th round. Yeah. I thought it could happen. This is the story.
Is this the turning point? And you know what? And he was fighting through all of that with a broken nose.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Dude, that spinning back kick was landing all bloody night. How beautiful was it? Every time.
I don't, mate. I don't think I've ever seen him throw so many spinning back kicks.
No, that was never in his arsenal originally.
Such a random weapon to pull out on this guy.
For sure.
And it was so effective. Obviously, there's that slim piece of luck involved, the way he landed it and broke his nose.
Yeah.
But, mate, miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
For sure. But look, this is what I would say is my Fight of the Year. It would be Esteban Ribovics against Daniel Zellhuber at UFC 306. Dude, this is the fight where if someone's please do. Look up the highlights.
I watched
You did watch it. We did the review. There's just been a lot of fights this year. But
so many.
If someone came up to me and said, hey, Johnny, I want to get into UFC, show me a great fight from this year, this would be a fight that I would send. It was a striking masterclass, man. Round 1 was good. It wasn't barn burner or amazing, but it was still active and competitive. In round 2, it just picked up, man. Their combos, their counter striking, their body work, head movement, it was all beautiful, dude. And then in the third round, freaking Zellhuber knocks Ribovics down. And then Ribovics knocks Zellhuber down. And then he's up against the cage and he's getting freaking battered. Oh, it was so good. It was so good, man. That third round was so bloody. It was beautiful. I love that fight, man. It was such a striking masterclass.
For the life of me, I cannot remember it. I have to watch it again.
I don't know how you can't remember it, bro. It was such a good fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was competitive too. I touched on how Holloway and Gaethje wasn't as competitive to get it into that fight of the year category for me anyways. This one was genuinely back and forth. It was a split decision win. Like, either of them could have won it, but Ribovics in that third round, man, just destroyed Zellhuber. But in the second half, after already getting knocked down, man, such a good fight. Such a good fight. This is the one that you need to watch, bro. I'm just telling you right now.
I watched
or
it.
rewatch. You did. But you can't remember it.
I can't. I'm sure I spoke about it.
Yeah. Can I also throw another fight while you're watching that in the ring? I know that you didn't watch this one, but Myktybek Orolbai against Mateusz Rębecki. Holy shit, dude. They like, you talk about the first one that I just mentioned with Zellhuber. That was a striking masterclass. This was just a brawl. They were so tough. They were throwing to knock each other out with every single strike. Mateusz was loading up and trying to kill Orolbai, and Orolbai just didn't bloody care, man. His eye went like this. He couldn't bloody see and kept going. It was insane. That one also could be my favorite fight of the year. I love that one too.
Well,
that was a tough
fight,
man.
Which one is it?
Oh, I don't know, man. Because Orolbai and Mateusz, far out. I'm going to have to say Zellhuber and Ribovics. That was, in terms of like just technical striking and fighting, it was in another league, and it was very competitive, and they both had their moments. But Orolbai and Mateusz Rębecki, close second.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to stick with Holloway and Gaethje. I understand you think that it was more one-sided, but I feel like Gaethje has such a presence in there that
fair enough.
I just felt like Holloway was only just out of reach of danger the whole fight, regardless of Gaethje's broken nose. I think the broken nose definitely helped Holloway control it the way he did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And like I said, like, I think fight of the year has to have such a significance watching it that even I, with my fish memory, can remember it. Okay, so like I can remember every round of that Holloway Gaethje fight.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it is because of the story, because of the whole. I guess that's why I kind of combined that with my KO of the years, because like it all kind of culminated together. You know, it was like the sum of numbers sort of thing.
And it was the way that it ended. And we'll obviously get more into the KO specifically in the next section. But I've also got to shout out Dan Hooker against Mateusz Gamrot. That was a crazy fight.
That was a cool fight.
Islam Makhachev against Dustin Poirier, I thought was a really good fight as well. There was a number of that were nominated in the community section. So there were some good fights this year. I
wouldn't give either one of those though. Like in the
I agree.
Even like top 10 fight of the year. You know, I think they were good fights, very high level fights. Yeah, but if we're looking at fights, like what was the fight last week or the week before? The two light heavyweights. Forget his name.
I'm gonna have to pull it up now.
You know what I'm talking about, though? The guy that was getting flogged the entire fight. Then knocked
hold on. Petrino and Jacoby.
Yeah, dude, I loved
That's
watching that.
That's not fight of the year, though.
No, dude,
come on.
I want to honorable mention that. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the way I look at fights, but I like the story. Dude, Jacoby was getting beat up, man.
Okay,
by a guy that was just like, he looks like Adonis. And we're like,
he does.
It looked like he was coasting the entire fight.
I'll give you this.
Putting work on him.
If we were to do a comeback of the year category, that's in there for sure.
Well, and you know, like I really liked that. What's the main event of that one? Pantoja.
Yeah.
And the ex-Rising guy.
Yeah, Kaya Sakura. Yeah. Well,
dude,
we're definitely going to talk about that.
That was awesome to watch. Sakura looked like a like Street Fighter character, the way he was fighting, dude. But Pantoja's a dog. You know, it made me feel good watching him just like dog through stuff. I don't know.
Do you know what this is called, Rob? This is called recency bias. You've got to think back to the January and the February fights.
Okay, and I said that. I got a fish memory, dude. Like, January may not exist to me. I forgot that I fought in February. Dude, October is like as far back as I go right now.
And that's why you fought 3 times this year.
That's why I always struggle with this stuff.
That's fine. You should rewatch Hooker and Gamrot. That
I watched it, and that's relatively recent. I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a really good fight, but I don't think it was good enough to be in Fight of the Year top 5.
If I was to ask you to rewatch a fight or to watch a fight, you watched it. Watch Ribovics against Zellhuber again, because I rewatched every one of these for this episode, and it reminded me of how good it was. But then Orolbai and Mateusz, that was freaking insane, man.
I am. Yeah, it is like the last fights that I watched are the only ones that pop up in my head when I'm thinking about this.
Well, yeah, I don't remember every single fight. I had to rewatch these and look at everyone's nominations. Yeah. It's the only way to do it actual justice. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we just talk about what we remember.
But that's what I'm doing.
Max Hollway versus Justin Gaethje, Rob's fight of the year.
How do you forget that though? Like, that was such a significant fight and such a significant finish. I don't know, and it was such a significant moment that it led to Holloway fighting Poirier, which led to Poirier being my fight of the year because of just how much outstanding work he's done. I don't know.
I get it.
Do we look at it collectively like that, or do we look at it individually? I don't know. You know what? I've just realized I'm not qualified for this game show, dude. I'm not qualified to be a judge for these awards.
I'm going to say this for you, okay? If we're talking in the ring, back and forth fighting, it's Ribovics against Zellhuber or Orolbai against Rębecki, right? If you're talking about story and the way that it ended and the consequences and what led to what, holistically, Gaethje and Holloway has to be in there as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still going to go Gaethje for now, but